It is a case which can only be described in 2 words by the chairman of the Law Society of Kenya, Eric Mutua.
This is a big-time case.
And being a big-time case, the possibility that it will come with big-time money is already causing a lot of commotion in Britain and Kenya as lawyers fight to have a piece of the possible compensation. A case filed by 8,000 former Mau Mau freedom fighters at the High Court in Britain seeking compensation due to torture and other inhumane acts caused by officials and agents of the colonial British government. And now their eyes are fixed on the possible price. It is no longer about the victims.
And when you talk about those kind of human rights violations and the kind of compensation which would be paid, then we are talking about colossal sums of money, a lot of money. That is why everybody is running to Kenya from Britain, local law firms, and trying to have a piece, to get a piece out of this entire huge compensation which is likely to happen.
And when those representing and those purporting to represent the victims clash during the scramble for a piece of the likely fat check if the war veterans win the case, quacks are taking advantage.
Yes, they are. In fact, one of the things we are doing is to interrogate, to find out whether all the people who are involved in this process, they are lawyers, because you cannot purport to practice this kind of law unless you have been cleared by the Law Society as a lawyer, unless you have a practicing certificate.
What has forced the Law Society of Kenya to summon 7 law firms from Britain and 9 from Kenya in a meeting to be held in Nairobi tomorrow, after it emerged that some lawyers have already gone ahead and even told the victims the amount of money they will get if they win the case.
There is likely to be exploitation of the victims of the colonial period. That is the ones who suffered the human rights violation during the colonial period. What will happen is, for instance, there are very many forms which are being circulated by some of these law firms, where you are signing your name and your ID, your particulars, and then there is an indication of the amount which would be paid. You are getting a standard indication, like for instance 300,000. I've seen a form which talks about 300 Kenya shillings, but yet the standards in Britain, for instance, because those are London codes, the amounts which would be paid in dollars would run to millions of shillings.
With the victims entangled in all the confusion, it is the outcome of the resolution meeting to be held in Nairobi tomorrow which will determine the way forward. Judy Kosgei, Citizen Weekend.